You know what I like today, Robert, is the fact that the artists can kind of sidestep all of that. Some of my most favorite people that I listen to today, I found like on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so how is that effect in the UK? Is that really big like out here now?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a Patreon site that I do things through, and I do a lot
Smart.
of, stuff like this, talking to people direct. We're not signed to a record company, so if the Blow Monkeys make an album, I'll put it out myself through a digital distributor. So I kind of control that artwork. I get it on Spotify, I get it everywhere. So in a way, it's it's quite powerful. I mean, obviously you don't get the kind of record company push behind you. You don't get the marketing and all that. But at this point, I'm not really interested in that anyway. I mean, I think record companies are really good for young bands or young artists that need help. But if you've got any kind of history and some kind of presence on the internet, you can make that yourself. You can take that as a beginning and start to make and start to do that. And I've enjoyed that process a lot. It's a lot of work. I mean, I spend a lot of time doing stuff. I had to learn how it all works, bloody, all the technical stuff. But actually I really enjoy it, and I think it's democratized the music industry to some extent. And I have no issues with it. I enjoy it. I know some people don't. I mean, it's not great in terms of kind of making money. Streaming's never going to make you rich unless, I mean, you're not going to. It's very tough. But it's kind of like the old days now. You go out and play live, and you sell vinyl and you sell T-shirts and you cultivate your own fan base, and that's great. And obviously, occasionally something might break through on the radio. We had one last year from a new album that we did called Journey to You, called Time Storm, and that kind of broke through out of the blue, So
Oh, that's great.
So you just never know.
That's so awesome. And you come from, well, I want to kind of ask you, this is such a drastic change from the MTV time. And so when MTV was starting to make videos and you were making videos, what was going on and what was the experience like? Because that was a whole new thing that was just emerging. It must have been very, very exciting.
It was weird because when I started out as wanting to be a musician, I never thought about making videos. And all of a sudden, by the time we get to the point where we're making records and the record company comes on, they say, well, the video is really as important now as the record, especially in the time of MTV. So then we're spending as much on these videos as we are making the records. And of course, I'm the front man, so I'm having to sort of do that. I'm not complaining, but it wasn't something that I envisaged doing. But I took to it, as you can see.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I thought, well, I might as well enjoy this. But, you spend a lot of money on making videos, and sometimes if MTV didn't like them, that was it. There was no internet. There was no other place to go.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
So they had too much power, basically.
And another thing too, I had Greg Kane of Hue and Cry on here, and he brought up another great point. You look back on these music videos and you're like, we spent that much money on that? Like it comes out at least maybe in today's time or even back then, the artist says, we spent that much money on that, and it looks like that,
Yeah.
like they weren't impressed, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And we're still paying it off.
Wow.
And it became so big, like you said, people were just throwing buckets of money, hoping for a return at that. That's a very good point that you made.
Yeah, they did, but it was fun. But we reached the kind of apotheosis of that when we made a video with a guy called Julian Temple, who's he's great. He's a really brilliant documentary maker now on music.
Wow.
But he's making music videos, and it cost us nearly 100 grand, and this would have been back in '88. So that's more than we spent on the record.
Wow.
And in this case, MTV took one look at it and said, no, it's not for us.
So
and the record was over. The record was over, really. So it was a big lesson. After that, I'm kind of glad now that you can make it on your phone, you know.
Yeah, it's so
We
great
need
what's happening.
All you need is imagination, really. That's the truth, and that's been a positive thing.